Okay, good. I want to make sure that that's stayed in place because I'm basically the phone is behind like a towel right now, and that's what's holding it up. And it looks like it's pretty stable. Okay, one moment, please. Woo! Oh, that feels great. Alrighty then. That definitely woke me up. Although I will admit that water did feel colder than normal, and there's a reason for that. Because my low yesterday, it's actually kind of a funny story. See, believe it or not, a friend of mine is actually her birth month this week, and she had posted on Facebook that do 31 things in the month of August that you can do, and for any of your friends to do if you want. I guess it's one of those Facebook posts, right? And number 5 on that list was go for a get up early, which is what I normally do, and go for a bike, a walk, or a run. Normally I go on a run, which is why normally I'm sweatier looking at the beginning of these videos, and it is starting to. My hands are so soapy right now. Hold on. There we go. See, normally I go for a run, but honestly, as of late, I kind of had a bit of a headache, so I just went for a walk. So to my friend who might be watching, I still got up early and I still, did something. I did a walk, which, technically still does, I still kind of wish I ran. So that's my low. There we go. Sorry if I look stupid doing that. It's the only really good way to get water out my ear. My high for yesterday was, my family's all together up here. I got it's myself, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my 2 beautiful nephews. They're all inside right now because, we gotta. My nephews are only 8 months old. You gotta make sure they're safe. But we're all together up here. We're all safe and sound. And speaking of safe and sound, I hope that the good people over at I said this yesterday, but the good people who work for Paint the Night Pink and the Fall Cancer Center at Arnott Medical Center are all doing well. I said that a lot yesterday, but it does bear repeating because what they do is a wonderful cause. There you go. There we go. And speaking of my family, my act of kindness was, with the help of my mother and father, I essentially had to I had to babysit my nephews last night. Yeah, my brother and his wife had to go run like a quick errand, so I got to watch my nephews. So, yes. Well, That's probably my favorite act of kindness I've done so far, probably. Because I got to be with my nephew. Well, I should say be with my nephews. This was like relatively 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night when my nephews are asleep. So I pretty much just had to watch the baby monitor. But, I still got to do something important. So that's always very nice. I got soap in my face? Yeah, I do. Okay. There we go. Alrighty then. Now, we can get started with what I was going to be talking about. Alright, so, rocking my towel. My Amphibia green towel, right here. There we go. Oh, hold on. There we go. Alrighty then. Oh, right. So, last night was actually a relatively big episode of Amphibia. Definitely the last couple episodes have been building up to this in some way. Well, I say sort of. I'd say 3.5 episodes. I'll explain why. Because the shows are in 11-minute segments, but between well, I should explain. See, so last night was episode 24. 24. Quarrelers Pass and Toadcatcher. Toadcatcher's the one that was building up to a little bit. So, Quarrelers Pass. It's been 2 weeks since, Anne, Sprig, Hop Hop, and Polly have been on their trip to Newtopia. But for those 2 weeks, the majority of that time, Sprig and Polly were fighting a lot. So they get to this one area called Quarrelers Pass where, it's basically a diverging path, but it meets up to where they go to later, right? So basically the episode is they essentially abandon Sprig and Polly there and said, go through Quarrelers Pass, by the time you get back, we'll be good to go, right? But what's funny is Hop Hop actually got so used to the fighting that he's just spouting nonsense, asking Anne about her boyfriend. Anne doesn't have a boyfriend to my knowledge or any knowledge of anyone, but yeah, it was just stuff like that. And throughout it all, you see Sprig and Polly, going through Quarrelers Pass, going through, a couple trials, and they eventually learn that, they fight a lot, but the only way that they'll be able to succeed a lot more often than not in life is if they work together, which is actually quite a very nice message. I actually quite like that. So it ultimately culminates in they see this one giant two-headed worm serpent thing where they actually try and get them to argue so they can escape, right? But this is actually quite interesting because as of this episode, sorry, I had some water in me here still. Anyway, it's been established that Sprig and Polly are capable of doing impressions. Really good ones. I mean, it's an animated show. All they simply did was take, Sprig and Polly's voice actors, switch them up to come out of, different characters. It's a simple voiceover acting trick. It's not particularly new, but you still don't, but it's by all accounts, it's really a cliche, but it's a really good one. And they were able to do that to the, here's the thing. Sprig and Polly can impersonate anyone, so they do that trick to the giant worm serpent thing, and, they escape. They're a lot better off. They promise each other they're going to fight less often, at least, so that's always good. But now we get to the real meat and potatoes. The second part was a Toadcatcher, where we finally pick up and see where Sasha and Grime were left off. Because remember, they were, I mean, Grime especially was the big bad of well, actually, who would be the big bad of season 1 now I think about it? Because, yeah, Anne used Sasha, standing up to Sasha as like a character growth moment. But, I need to think of that for a second. But anyway, so it turns out that Grime is wanted by the Newtopia capital. All his men have abandoned except for Sasha and like two of Grimes goons, I guess. And there's this one overly crazy like bounty hunter general who is like, she has to like repeat every like her like opening like every time like she enters a room, and it gets to the point where Sasha's like, do you have to do that every time? And he's like, repetition is what makes it work. And so to beat this bounty hunter, Sasha and Grime are like, I'm sorry, could you repeat your opening again? I forgot how it goes. And so while the bounty hunter's doing the opening, Grime like pushes her off a cliff. Yeah, it was a female sort of gecko thing. And basically throughout the episode, you learn that Sasha isn't really, well, because Sasha's been in some really great training right now, but that's because, I mean, pretty obvious, she said that she lost, her friend Anne, even though the way I see it, it was more, Anne stood up to her and she's just so, crazy flabbergasted about it or something. And, Grime is sort of down on his luck, but then, he gets a new lease on life. And yeah, it was actually quite good. I really think that the end of season 2 is going to build up to something pretty good. At least I hope it does. I mean, now that I'm older and, much more wiser. Did I just say much more wiser? Much more wise. Or I just could have said wiser. Anyway, hold on. Man. It's so weird. It feels like sometimes it feels like I have water in my ear, but I don't. Anyway, so I was saying, hopefully, season 2, if it ends like, say, Avatar: The Last Airbender Book 2 ended, I'll definitely handle that a lot better, I guess. So, yeah, all in all, it was a great episode of Amphibia. They're really building it up to something pretty special. Cannot wait. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting, and yeah, I'll definitely be able to talk about it for sure. Other than that, last night, for the first time in a long time, my parents and I got to eat at a place called the Village Tavern, which I've mentioned before is one of the 13 best places on Keuka Lake to get yourself a bite to eat. It's in Hammondsport. It's very nice. And we actually sort of know the people there. So, we got to talk with them. They're wonderful people. So, to the good people over at the Village Tavern, thank you very much for the wonderful meal. And I got myself a prime rib with fries and the crock of the French onion soup, which is really good. But everything I had was really good. Just the soup was good. Everything was incredible. And my parents got the 2 filet special, which is 2 filet medallions over a bed of smashed potatoes. I thought about getting smashed potatoes, but I actually had smashed potatoes on Friday night when I went to the Corny Country Club. So actually, no, I didn't. Okay, note to self: next time I'm getting the smashed potatoes. Anyway, right. So all in all, it was a wonderful evening. Great night, couldn't ask for anything better. Today's going to be a really nice day as well. And, yeah, just going to spend all day up here at Keuka Lake with my mother, my father, my brother, my sister-in-law, my nephews. And my mom actually ran to Dunkin' in Penn Yan, I think. So I'm getting me some coffee soon. That's going to be awesome. I asked her to get actually, I should probably talk about Dunkin' a little because, I do like Dunkin' Donuts a lot. I really do. I mean, There is a Starbucks at like the local Target in my hometown, but other than that, like everywhere I go is like Dunkin' Donuts Central. And if I ever do get coffee, I like to get a frozen caramel coffee because it's essentially a coffee slushy. It's awesome. So panoramic shot. Oh, it's starting to get windy, really windy. So my tape is blowing in the breeze, kind of. Okay, so. Oh, that's really bright, but it's so awesome. All right, like, favorite, share, hit the subscribe button, follow me on social media platforms, turn on notifications on YouTube. I'm very humble. I made this video for all of you guys who are watching your family. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Sunday. And remember, if you guys want to talk and chat, I'm always going to be here to let you know. I'll be back. Take care and make good choices. See ya.